Hey, Book Dragons, I am so glad that you're here with me today. I have breaking news to share with you. The moon has turned to cheese. Or at least, the moon has turned to cheese in the book I just read. I recently read When the Moon Hit Your Eye by John Scalzi, and I am very excited to talk about this book with you. So settle in with your snacks and drinks, and let's talk about this book. And I'm going to start by saying that every time I picked up this book to listen to it, I all of a sudden got the song stuck in my head. You guys know the song, right? When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. Favorite song of mine, and when I saw the title of the book, I'm like, oh well, that's fitting. But anyway, yes, the moon has turned to cheese. Now that is not a spoiler. It's the very first line of the blurb on the book, so I don't really consider that a spoiler. And yes, it does appear to be cheese, but throughout the book, the scholarly types usually refer to it as a cheese-like organic substance of some kind. Growing up, your parents probably made the joke with you about the moon being made of cheese, or you probably at least heard it. I know my parents joked around about that all the time when I was growing up. This book really isn't about the moon turning to cheese, even though that is a factor. It is more about the lives of the people experiencing this new phenomena in the sky. And throughout the book, you follow various different people. You follow government officials, you follow authors, you follow cheese shop owners, and students and regular folk just like you and I, living their everyday lives in a world where the moon has now become a cheese-like substance. And absolute hilarity ensues at times, and sadness ensues at times. Fear is on the horizon because nobody knows what is going to happen to the world as they know it now that the moon has turned to cheese. How is that going to affect the ocean tides? How is that going to affect the entire operation of our solar system? So all these questions are being asked, and then something happens. I'm not going to say what happens, but that fear ratchets up to an impending sense of doom. That's all I'm going to say. But the character development and the little vignettes that this story is broken up into is really where the meat of the story happens. Yes, the moon has changed, but it plays second fiddle to the people whose lives are changing with it. And that was really neat for me to experience. You've got business owners who are trying to figure out how to capitalize on the moon turning to cheese. You've got authors who are finding out how to capitalize on this story and write books about it and have interviews about it, and government officials. What's the president going to do when the moon has all of a sudden turned to cheese? What's the president going to do when the moon has all of a sudden changed its entire makeup all of a sudden? And as the Doomsday scenario looms closer and closer, you get to really see the nitty-gritty of what people are like, what their fears are, what their expectations are, the kind of lives that they would have preferred to live had they known that their doom was coming sooner than they wanted it to. But what if it isn't coming? And you get all kinds of people on that side of things, people who are skeptical, people who need proof that this is the reality that we're living in, proof that it's not a government conspiracy. All of these different angles and all of these different themes are playing into this story, and you really get to see the stark reality of humanity. And in some cases, you get to see the bad parts of human nature, right? Like greed and selfishness and rage. But then there's also the beautiful parts of humanity that shine through, like a sense of hope and courage, accepting our circumstances, accepting that the world has changed, and a few people being willing to accept the change and change with it. So you see both of those starkly contrasted against each other, and you see those that are kind of in the middle of that as well. You see all different sides of humanity and how it deals with a world that it doesn't understand or really makes sense to them at this point. Because what they know from science and the way the world is supposed to work is all of a sudden thrown out the window. What happens to humanity when that happens? I really enjoyed the way that John Scalzi presented that aspect of the world in this book. And he presented it from a global perspective too. It's not just things happening in the US, it's things happening all over the world. And when something like this happens, people start to realize that all of those differences that they've had with people throughout the years don't really matter. We're all people, we're all humans, we all come from different walks of life, but at our core, we're the same. And that's what I got from this. There's a lot of great stuff in the book. There's lots of witty humor and sarcasm. Absurdism at times is just rampant in this book because this just doesn't seem like it should make sense. But Scalzi still manages to capture the fun and the humor of the moment and to give us a very candid glimpse into the lives of different humans. And that just gave me a lot to love in this book. There were definitely some eye-rolling moments, but overall it was just a super fun and entertaining book. And it really makes you think about what matters and what's important. And I think that's good for a book to do. You know, people say that you can't learn from fiction books. You can learn a whole hell of a lot from fiction books. And you can have fun doing it. And this book is proof of that. So I highly recommend When the Moon Hits Your Eye by John Scalzi. It was a wild ride, but I loved every single minute of it. And I did the audiobook for this one, narrated by Will Wheaton, and Will Wheaton just killed it. He absolutely nailed it. I had so much fun listening to him narrate this book. I think it's a great way to experience the book. If you don't do audio, that's great. The book is fine without the audio. And maybe you can even do an immersive read. You can get the physical to read along with the audio, and I'm sure that would be an awesome experience. I would definitely reread this book, and I think I would do it as an immersive read in the future. I'd like to have the physical copy because I'm sure there's things I missed listening to the book. But overall, I just had an amazing experience. Gets a big heart from me. I absolutely loved it, and I hope you will too. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of the review. Does this sound like a book that you would enjoy reading, or maybe you've already read the book? Let me know that in the comments as well. And also let me know what you would do if the moon all of a sudden turned to cheese. And until next time, make sure you read more books, and if you want to watch more of my content, check out these cards here at the end.